Alabama gets set to take on the LSU Tigers. We're going to preview it here. We got a great show for you guys. So let's get this thing going as we talk Bama football from Innisfree. Let's go.
The original Bama football tailgate show is on the air. Alabama football is rolling, and we've got you covered with a breakdown of the game matchup, an SEC preview, and all the fun of an afternoon on the quad. With national championship winning quarterback Jake Coker and CoverCrimson.com host Mick Gillispie. The Bama Football Tailgate Show is presented by Pearl River Resort Casino and Hotel in Choctaw, Mississippi. Let's play! Featuring the Sportsbook at the Timeout Lounge, Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. Also brought to you by Tuscaloosa Hyundai. New thinking, new possibilities. Genesis of Tuscaloosa. Luxury with a national championship service department. Yuengling Lager. Yuengling, America's oldest brewery. The only beer you need at a Bama tailgate party. The Floribama world famous beach bar and lounge in Orange Beach. Sevierville, your Smokies start here. NewLifeArt.com, publisher of fine art editions by Daniel A. Moore. Use the code BAMATAILGATE for amazing deals at NewLifeArt.com.
And also brought to you by Visit Tuscaloosa, where tradition meets adventure. Alabama personal injury lawyer Steve Mezrano. Mezrano wins, we got you.
Now the host of the original Bama Tailgate Show, here's Mick Gillispie.
All right, roll tide, everybody, and welcome to Innisfree as we get you set for Alabama against LSU. Our show's brought to you by Pearl River Resort. For the next 2 hours, we're going to talk number 4 Bama versus the headless Tigers of LSU. It's 6:30 at Bryant Denny Stadium, and on today's show, we got great guests. Cruz Oxenreider is going to be here. Our friend Chris Lowe from On 3. We've got Steve Mezrano. We got a bunch of great people that are going to be on our Gating and Grilling segment. Brook from Tuscaloosa Hyundai is going to come and hang out, and many more. But this is the Tailgate Show. It's brought to you by Pearl River in Philadelphia, Mississippi, a short drive from Tuscaloosa, and you get that Vegas-style sports book at the Golden Moon Casino. I'm Mick Gillispie with Jake Coker. Bama 7-1, LSU 3-5. What's up, man?
Hey, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be at Innisfree as always. This is, to me, one of the biggest games of the year, no matter how LSU looks. Look, man, LSU, I was riding up here this morning thinking about this game and just thinking whether, in terms of how we respond, is LSU a more dangerous team at 3-5 or undefeated?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I feel like Alabama's more confident in LSU than LSU fans are, just from the people that I've talked to, because I think we know that they've got a lot of talent. I seen LSU guys saying, no, we don't have that any talent. We just fired our coach. We liked Brian Kelly around here. They got rid of him. But, yeah, I mean, nothing but respect. We've seen these battles against LSU. Even when Bama wasn't great and LSU was good, Bama always fought them hard. Saban's first year at Alabama, I can think of the 2007 game. So this is one of those games that you throw the record books away. These guys are going to be motivated to try to come here and win.
Well, the dangerous thing to me about LSU is they're one of those teams that has a lot of talent. They brought in a lot of talent through the transfer portal. I believe 18 players. They had a good base to begin with, but a team that to me was not very disciplined, especially on offense. They always had drive-ending plays where they shot themselves in the foot. Just couldn't quite figure it out. And when you come to Alabama, you play in Tuscaloosa. We beat this dead horse over and over again, but this is the Super Bowl for them. This is the way they get remembered, by beating Alabama here. And so, I mean, if they have that game where they put it all together, they could be dangerous.
Yep, and that's what you got to look for Alabama right now is staying focused and keeping the path, right? Undefeated in the SEC, all the way up to number 4, the highest-rated one-loss team. And LSU fired Brian Kelly, and I just mentioned it before. Brian Kelly said he took the job to beat Nick Saban. He did that. And after that, things kind of went downhill. I was talking with Jake from Crane & Co., and I said, I think Brian Kelly's a good coach. And he said he is a good coach. The problem is being good isn't good enough anymore.
Well, and I don't think he was the greatest fit for LSU. And you look at the chaos in college football right now. You look at Auburn, you look at LSU, Penn State, Arkansas. I mean, name them off the list. It makes me very thankful for Kalen DeBoer and this entire coaching staff. You got a guy who comes in here, which you follow Nick Saban. That says a lot about him to begin with.
Right.
But to approach this situation with the humility that he's approached it with, you watch him in the first year, we lose 26 guys in the transfer portal. He runs an offense around Jalen Milroe that is very effective, and really it was a promising year up until a certain point. But you watch him offensively, and he molds his offense to Jalen Milroe and makes us effective. He gets through the offseason, doesn't lose hardly anybody in the transfer portal, gets some key guys. The offense looks different now under Ty Simpson. He's just changing and evolving, and you watch this offense. You watch the way Ty gets the ball out. You watch the way that the receivers are on time. They're where they're supposed to be. Every route, I mean, for the most part, is run very well and crisp. Ty doesn't have the kind of year he's having this year unless you've got very, very good coaches and players who understand what their assignments are. And so, again, you look at this scenario, you got to be very thankful for this Alabama coaching staff.
Got a great show lined up for you guys today as, again, we preview Alabama and LSU. One of 3 straight games in Tuscaloosa. I think we're all happy that Bama's playing at Bryant Denny Stadium and doesn't have to play these next few games on the road. So we'll get into that. And I also want to remind you that with our promo code right now, and that is Bama Tailgate at newlifeart.com, Heisman Heights. Jake, you're a guy that was in a Daniel Moore print. Well, the one that we're giving a 30% discount on right now is Devontae Smith's amazing high point catch. And
against LSU, huh?
It was against LSU.
Yeah.
30% off anything that has Heisman Heights, whether it's a mug, print, canvas, any of that right now at newlifeart.com. I want to tell you again that we appreciate Yingling Lager for being here, and for the first time it's on tap. So when you come in here, get you a cold Yingling on tap. I can see it from where I'm sitting right now. The Tailgate Show is going to roll on, and we're going to talk about the Crimson Tide more right after this.
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll!
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire, that rush? Then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now. Let's roll.
Let's roll!
Why walk when you can fly? Tap into your inner eagle. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
When you head to the Smoky Mountains, it's only natural to visit Sevierville.
Even we had to check it out.
And we've been here our whole lives.
Experience the adventure of a lifetime.
I'm king of the world.
Even you can get a bird's eye view of the Smokies.
You're going down, Billy. Whoa.
Your Smokies start here.
Touchdown flavor, Gulf Coast style. Whether you're here for the big game or just hungry for a win, Floribama Old River Grill has you covered. Catch every pass, every play, and every moment on our wall of big screens while you enjoy fresh Gulf seafood, legendary burgers, and ice-cold drinks. With waterfront views and game day energy like no other, this is where football meets paradise. Grab your crew, bring your team spirit, and make Floribama Old River Grill your home field advantage this season, where the food, drinks, and football are always a win. Located across from the world-famous Floribama or online at floribamaoldrivergrill.com.
Get your life back. when the world's gone crazy. Get your life back. And I don't mean maybe when you know you got to have a friend. You call 900-9000. Cause Mez wins and get your life back, baby. Get your life back, baby. Call 900-9000. Stephen Mezrano.
Tracy Lawrence, live for one night only. Saturday, November 15th, Pearl River Resort Silver Star Convention Center. All the hits, all night long, with CMA and ACM award winner Tracy Lawrence. Tickets on sale now at PearlRiverResort.com.
Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. When Hyundai introduced America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, it was one of a kind. But you know us, how can we improve on that? Tuscaloosa Hyundai was first in the nation with a 1,000,000-mile warranty on every new Hyundai. When we told customers no charge, they smiled, and you will too. At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, home of the 1,000,000-mile smile.
Welcome back to the Bama Tailgate Show, brought to you by Tuscaloosa Hyundai, home of the 1,000,000-mile smile. We get you set for Alabama and LSU like we do each week, and we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us as always. I want to tell you this, too, before we introduce our next guest and talk some more football, that Black Belt Outdoor is in the heart of the Black Belt region of Alabama. And since then, they have expanded their coverage into 13 counties in central Alabama. They offer static and digital billboards to meet the needs of their customers and advertisers. We appreciate them. I mean, a lot of you drive around and you see Jake Coker on those billboards and you know, hey, the show's going to be on our flagship station, 106.9, by the way, number one on Saturdays. I don't mind saying that. Well, it's great to have from Tuscaloosa Hyundai, Brook Meissner. Your dad, Barry, is someone that I love. I love your dad, so I know you do too. But great to have you on here today and roll Tide. Let me get you up. Hey, try that again.
Tide.
There you go.
I got that one down pat.
Yeah. You got
You've said
that before, huh?
Yeah, you've said that a few times. You got your Bama gear on. We have our Bama gear on, and then there's
been a long day.
Then there's Jake. But welcome to the show, and let's talk about Bama and LSU. Is this for you, Brooke? Is this your biggest Alabama rival, or where do you have these guys ranked?
I don't know. I mean, Tennessee, LSU, Auburn, they're all kind of equal, They're all big rivalries, and it's definitely a game that no matter what, you want to make sure you win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. What about you played against these guys?
I like sending them back to the bayou in a bad mood, I mean, of course, these LSU fans that have already showed up look like they're in a bad mood already.
Yeah. Well, I never buy into that, though. Don't show up and act like you're not going to win, and then you don't have a chance, and you kind of hope you got a chance.
Oh, well, if they win, they'll be acting like lunatics. I mean,
I know.
we all have an LSU buddy. We know how that goes.
No, or some people that we ran into at the game that, the funny thing is that I've never heard them quieter. Oh, that's right. I can't hear them right now. But I like the food down there. Have you ever had the Cajun food before?
Yes, and I've actually only been to the Bayou to the LSU game one time, and I've never gone back just because it's a little.
I was about to say it's usually enough.
So it was, and you probably remember the game. It was in 2014. When we came back and won in like the last 60, 70 seconds of the game.
Was that the TJ Yeldon game, or was that the Blake? That was the Blake. That was your
White,
team.
DeAndrew White.
Blake Sims
catches the touchdown. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Won in overtime.
That's the only time I've ever been. And let me tell you, that was a long walk back to the car.
Yeah. But it was a beautiful walk. And let me tell you what, when we fumbled at under 2 minutes to go, they thought they had it. I saw them all like lock arms and sway.
Yeah. And Reuben Foster, he hits Leonard Fournette, and his arms popped out of socket. He's running back, celebrating with one arm just dangling by his side. Oops.
That was a good one to go to right there, by the way.
And nobody knew that's what it was going to be. You know, we just decided to pile up with some friends and make the trip.
Oh, yeah. That was another down year for LSU. Everybody felt like we were going to win. I would imagine the point spread was probably around 10 points, you know.
Yeah.
And we scored pretty quickly early, and things kind of fell apart. I don't know. It's kind of one of those games when you start fast and you get a little too confident.
Cocky.
Yeah.
A little cocky.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? It turned out to be another one of those classics. Alabama has had some tough games, also some blowouts against these guys. But I feel like this one's a trap game. And I know I use that term a lot. Somebody's going to be in the comment section here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel like saying, hey, you shouldn't use that. Just because there's not the buzz that we're used to when this game happens, and partly because LSU doesn't really feel like they have a chance, even though we know they have a chance.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather, LSU fans come in here thinking they've got a chance.
Right.
You know, I like that energy a lot more. And like I said, I started off the show, a 3-5 LSU team. I mean, you watch them play, they got a lot of talent. That's a dangerous team. And
right.
So the only thing they've lacked is a game where they actually put it together. I mean, Ole Miss, key critical moments, they fall apart. You know, against Vandy, same thing. They don't make the plays when it matters, and even if they do, it's not consistent enough.
Yeah, but it's a tough game for Alabama.
Yes, it is. I mean, I think in the SEC, you never take these kind of games for granted, and you always got to be humbling yourself for that next opportunity to make sure that you don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
And that's
good point.
The key point about the SEC. I mean, we've talked about this before. Any team in the SEC can beat you, especially now.
Right.
I mean, even Vandy's good now. So the problem in the SEC is you have to be consistently good in critical moments, game in, game out. LSU hadn't been able to do that. And so that's why their record is what it is. Great team in another conference. They're probably ranked pretty highly. I would think 14, 15, something like that. You can get away with things like that. Brian Kelly did it at Notre Dame. What happens in the national championship? It ain't pretty.
Yeah. You know, Brooke, you're at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, and if you guys just went with, hey, firing your bosses every 3 years, probably wouldn't be a good business. That's what's happening right now in the SEC. 4 coaching changes. Our friends down at Auburn got rid of their coach. LSU without a coach. And it's so different right now. And somebody said this to me, and I totally agree with it. And I talked about it last segment. Being good just isn't good enough right now in the SEC.
No, there's an expectation out there, not just in college football, but in everything that is out there. Everybody has an expectation that they want you to be the best. Everybody's got to win. And if you're not winning, then you're out.
Yeah, right.
It's basically gotten to the point where if you're not Coach Saban, you're not going to last long.
Right, in football.
It's a crazy the expectations are probably too high. They're definitely too high, but, at the same time, you look at this campus, what's happened to this campus in the last 15 years?
Yeah, blown
this
up.
place is unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And what happens with a good football program is a financially stable city. So,
right.
Every team's chasing that. They've seen what's happened to Tuscaloosa, and it's just not easily attainable.
Right. I remember when I lived in Tuscaloosa, and there was a recession going on, but Saban kind of made us recession proof. Like this is before the.
Was that 29?
No.
1929.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. It was like
he just called you old.
Yeah, he did. It was like 2010, 11, somewhere in
what
there.
Was Black
14.
Tuesday like?
I'll ask my grandfather. This is the abuse I take, Brooke. You show up and this
Bless.
guy. But I believe that when you're winning these football games, it does help the economy. You look at like Tennessee and what things were after they got rid of Philip Fulmer, and then they couldn't win. And us before we got Coach Saban, which I guess I'm old. I mean, I showed him a picture of me interviewing Coach Franchione the other day, so I guess this is part of this is coming from. But you're right. Everybody's held to this Nick Saban standard, and that's unrealistic.
Yeah, I mean, look, how many teams? I don't think we'll ever see that again either, because you're not going to have the type of stability that you used to have that you could develop through consistency and recruiting and developing players. It's just not going to happen with guys being able to up and leave. I saw Greg Olson talking about this a few weeks ago. I mean, something needs to happen. Either you take the transfer portal option or you take NIL. You can't have both. And it's just hard to build continuity. Kalen DeBoer, I think, in this era, we talked about it before. I think he's got the perfect personality for it. He's a player's coach, but he's evolving into an Alabama head coach, in my opinion. You watch the way he manages the players. You see his emotions on the sidelines before games. I think he's really figuring out how to dial this team in and get everybody on the same page.
Well, when you fire your coach, you still got to pay him buyouts, which is incredibly bad business to me too, right? Like where it's like, hey, I got to pay this guy at LSU $54 million, even though he's not going to coach our team anymore and he didn't have the type of success that it takes. Brooke, how do they pay this?
I don't know. It seems unreal to me when you think about those numbers and going forward, because they're going to have to bring in the new guy and he's going to have a high expectation too. And then when you think about the two and what that equals.
I think Auburn's been doing it for the last decade.
That's what I mean. I mean, being serious. And think about $54 million. I mean, just to give a guy to walk away.
And you're already asking to pay players too.
Right. And you got to pay the next coach that you get. And that guy might not be successful.
But I know what it's costing people who live in Alabama that are sending their kids to school down there. It's a pretty penny for in-state tuition. So that's how they're paying for it.
Yeah.
Their governor, who's going to be at the game, Governor Landry, was involved in the firing. What would you think if Meemaw jumped in on the Alabama football?
That would be funny.
Yeah, it would be. I mean,
Man, that looked like a total dumpster fire.
Y'all should fire your coach.
Who would want to jump into that? What head coach wants to take that position? And not only do you have an AD, a fan base, but you also have, the state's governing body looking over your shoulder.
You're not picking the next coach.
I thought I had a short leash here.
Right. Yeah, it's so funny. Well, I'll tell you what, it really is interesting when you look at the state that business in college sports is right now since the NIL. When they decided to allow the transfer portal where you could do whatever you want in NIL, it just has changed the way that it doesn't really feel like amateur athletics at all.
Well, it's not. They're professional players now. And I've always said, I think players should have the opportunity to get paid, but the institution in which they attend should have nothing to do with it. If Old Spice or some third party wants to come in and actually have you represent their product, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start shuffling money around and you're starting new entities to pay players and find loopholes, which everybody's going to find a way to do that.
Right.
But that's the real issue with college football right now.
When I drive up here from Fairhope, and there's Sneed. What's up, Sneed? Thank you for putting Yingling on tap. Everybody get a Yingling, by the way. When I drive up here, I drive right by the Hyundai plant, and it's like, hey, it's cool to think that they're made right here in our state. And obviously, Tuscaloosa Hyundai, we talked about how much we love Barry. He's on our commercials. He's our friend. Brooke, you guys have some amazing deals going on right now. And I'm just going to tell you the frustration that I had buying the Freebird 2, which is my new boat. So I go in there, they give me a price, and then all of a sudden when I go sit down, they're like, oh, no, that's not the price you're really going to pay. Here's the real price. And the fact that you guys don't do side stickers saves people like me a lot of time.
Yes, sir.
Just to say that right now. No surprises.
There is no surprises, but I think people don't really understand it. Like, they're still waiting for that hidden agenda. Like, even though you tell them we don't do it, they're like, okay, I don't believe you. Like, where is it? They're like,
no,
they're looking for it, And we're like, nope, it's not there.
Yeah, if you say $21,989, that's the price.
That's correct.
Yeah, which is fantastic because there's a lot of these like hidden stickers and you guys don't do that. And right now, which is another thing that I love, is that you can go 60 months without paying interest.
Yes, 0% for 60
like
months. Yep, 0% for 60 months on brand new Hyundai Santa Fe's and Tucson's, and no payment for 90 days. So no payment till after the Super Bowl.
Hey, you hear that, Richie? Richie's our producer. He drives a Santa Fe. So
Okay.
you can upgrade, Rich. Go see Brooke over at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. But yeah, come back next week. Love to talk to you some more about football, and obviously we just love the idea of going over there in Titletown. You know, a lot of people that are coming. You know, you're in the market for a new car. You want to buy it from a city that's known for national championships.
That's right.
And that's us here in Tuscaloosa.
Nothing like a Hyundai from Titletown.
Titletown, baby. All right. Well, thank you. Good to meet you, Brooke. We'll
Nice
talk to you
to meet you
again
guys.
next week. Again, we're brought to you by Tuscaloosa Hyundai as we talk Alabama football here on the Bama Tailgate Show. We're at Innisfree, and for the first time ever, Yingling is on draft. And I heard from Cheryl Yingling, who's part of the company's ownership. Her and her four sisters that run the company are going to be here next week, all the way from Pottsville, Pennsylvania. They were so excited about that. Cheryl actually went to school at Alabama. She's part of the, obviously, 6 generations of Yinglings that run the company. It's an American company, proud of that. And she puts a little bit of crimson love in each one of those green bottles. And they also have Flight here as well. So come hang out with us. We're going to talk more Bama football when we come back. The Bama Football Tailgate Show is brought to you by our friends at Yingling. We'll be right back.
Well, howdy, fans, and welcome to Week 11 of Leonard's Losers. The LSPM, that's the little smart pill machine, was OD'd on Halloween treats last week and sputtered at 21-10. The ranks of the undefeated was reduced by 2 as Navy and Georgia Tech fell from grace. This leaves only BYU, Indiana, Ohio State, and Texas A&M. Let's get cranking on this week's losers. Citadel versus Ole Miss. Number 7, Johnny Reb entertains the Bulldogs from Charleston Saturday afternoon at Vaught Hemingway in this non-conference debacle. The home team opened as a prohibitive 37-point favorite. It will be a long ride back to the Palmetto State for the Soldiers, but they can use their time wisely by counting the $500,000 payout they receive. Just make sure it ain't Confederate money. Leonard's loser, hotty toddy, Citadel. Florida State versus Clemson. 2 teams that were feared on Saturdays are struggling and hoping to salvage the season. The Pickens County Felines have been requested to refrain from using the term Death Valley since losing 4 at home. The Tigers opened as 16.5-point favorites and quickly dropped to 3. In his storied career, Leonard ain't never seen that. Dabo's derriere may start smoking soon if the Cats can't produce a home win. Osceola best have his sharpest spearhead in place. Leonard's loser, Florida State. Texas A&M versus Missouri. These two meet after bye weeks for both, with the Aggies riding the show pony in the polls at 8-0, and the Tigers coming in at 6-2 and starting a freshman quarterback. The Felines will rely heavily on their top-ranked rushing attack. The Aggies are a solid 7-point favorite, but the Felines are at home, and it will take the 12th man to pull off an Aggie win. Leonard's loser in an upset, Texas A&M. Indiana versus Penn State. This is the first time in Nittany Lion history they have faced 2 top 10 teams in consecutive games. The Felines have lost 5 in a row. The boys from Happy Valley will play their first game in a month in this nooner on Fox. State is a 14-point home dog, but the Hoosiers may be wishing they were back home again in Indiana at the final gun. Leonard's loser in an upset, Indiana. Florida versus Kentucky. The SEC Network brings you the giant water lizards invading the Lexington grocery store Saturday night. The Gators have won 6 of the last 10 matchups in this series. How about 6 of the last 11? Leonard's loser, Florida. LSU versus Alabama. The boys from the Bayou head to Tuscaloosa for the 90th meeting, and interim head coach Frank Wilson making his debut. Quite an ominous challenge for his first game. Alabama's offense is one of the best under signal caller Ty Simpson, who has established himself as a Heisman candidate. The tide is high, and Mike the Tiger will have to count on some Bama miscues to keep his head above water Saturday night. Leonard's loser, LSU.
Fans, we're going to take a break right now and hear a word from Sponsorsville. We'll be right back with more Leonard's Losers.
Roll Tide, everybody. And again, thanks for hanging with us as we preview Alabama and LSU from Innisfree here in Tuscaloosa, talking Crimson Tide and obviously the LSU Tigers, which is a huge matchup, part of a 3-game homestand for Alabama. They'll be back next week against Oklahoma, then Eastern Illinois, then Auburn. 2 of the 4 coaches that Alabama is going to face have been fired, including Brian Kelly. But let's talk a little bit of this matchup, Jake, and kind of what Alabama's all about, right? The LSU and Alabama matchup, you kind of say, hey, wait a second, without Brian Kelly, I still think the Tigers are super dangerous.
No, I think it's an extremely dangerous football team. Like I said earlier, they got the talent. I think the 2 biggest matchups, I mean, obviously Alabama's offense versus LSU's defense. LSU up front, really a smaller front. I think they got 3 linemen that are in the 260 range. So I think we're getting some push up front. I think we're able to run the ball, establish the run early. Now, I do think they're going to bring a lot of pressures, and I think they're going to get Harold Perkins involved. I know he's kind of a star player, but I think they're going to get him coming off the edge, probably play a little more man than they usually have, and try to find a way to just disrupt Ty and get him off his game. Now, having said that, when you play quarterbacks that are pretty mentally tough and really advanced, bringing pressure also brings some pretty big problems. And when you got the receiving core that we've got, that you're playing a dangerous game. So while I'm nervous about what they do and being probably pretty unpredictable based on what they've done previously, I think we match up really well against their defense. When it comes to LSU's offense, it's all about consistency.
Right.
I mean, can they hold up front? Can their receivers be on the same page with Nussmeier? And can they maintain control of the ball? Because if they have a few 3 and outs with our offense and our consistency, the way we drain the clock and just dominate clock management, it's going to be a long day for LSU. But, again, you never know with these teams. I mean, it's flipping a coin. You don't know which team's going to show up. How effective are they going to be?
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. One thing that Alabama has shown is that Jeremy Bernard is a great player, probably the best player on the football team. And he had one of the all-time great Alabama moments in the 4th quarter against South Carolina last game. Looked like Alabama was going to lose, right? I don't know if you saw this, but South Carolina's student section, they all got real close because they were going to jump and run out on the field. And then Jeremy Bernard took it to the house and sent everybody out of the stadium.
Hate to see it, don't you?
Oh, it was so sad. It was so sad. Those.
Hey, while that was a close game, we all knew. I feel like we all knew going in that was going to be a tough game. South Carolina, Columbia, that's a hard place to play.
Right.
The stretch that we went on was harder than any stretch that any team in the country has been on, and actually pull off 4 wins in a row against that competition.
Yeah.
So to go through that, you go to South Carolina. While they're kind of a nightmare right now, they still have a great quarterback and a lot of good players. That's a tough game. When you're Alabama, you get their best, and that's exactly what happened, and we found a way to win. That's what championship teams do.
Yeah, and I thought that was a championship moment. Ryan Grubb said that he felt like it was a big learning moment for the team, up against the wall. We saw what happened against Florida State, but they weren't prepared for that game.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have those moments. And we've talked about this earlier in the week. I always reference Tennessee my senior year because that was our game where we had to pull it out. 2 plays that I remember being late to Calvin Ridley in the end zone. Safety comes up, knocks the ball out of his hand. I throw an interception, throwing to Chris Black on a hole shot against cover 2, and I was late. And those 2 plays, if they're touchdowns or completions, that game is probably a 2 to 3 possession game, 2 to 3 possession victory. And that's the problem that LSU's having right now. Those plays, they can't figure them out. So, you know, a couple key moments in the game, turn a game into what could be 24-21 to 31-10.
Guys, I want to tell you about Kelce, because at Kelce, you can actually figure out what people think about the Heisman race as we speak, right? And this is, you know, it's basically an exchange market for ideas, but we like to look at it to figure out exactly who the public thinks is going to win the Heisman Trophy. What do you think right now? Who do you think the public has as the top Heisman guy?
The public,
Joe Public.
Probably, what's his name? Well, no, it's not Julian Sayin. It's probably the Indiana quarterback, I guess.
Mendoza.
Yeah, Mendoza.
Okay, well, Jake, you were actually there, and then you backed off of it.
It's Julian Sayin?
Julian Sayin right now has most of the money on him, right? 39% of the money is on Julian Sayin. Fernando Mendoza's 24%, and Ty Simpson's at 18%. Now, that's up from 16%, but it feels like this is a 3-player race for the Heisman.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. You need to fade the public. My unbiased opinion is Ty Simpson's the best quarterback in the country. You watch him on the field, and there's not anybody that operates the position like he does. Getting us into the right looks, communicating with his guys, being a leader, being accurate, on time. He's the guy.
Fade the public.
And yeah.
Get him out of here.
And if he loses, it's rigged.
Well, when you look at this game and you say to yourself, okay, who exactly would you worry about most for LSU? Is it Garrett Nussmeier or is it Harold Perkins? Are you looking offense or defense?
I mean, to me, it's two things: offensive line play and the receiving core for LSU. I know they brought in 18 transfers. 2 of their highest efficiency receivers or highest producing receivers or transfers. And when you watch them, especially on third downs and in big moments, you see a lot of miscommunication with those guys, whether it's, where they're releasing, which are, are they breaking in? Are they breaking out on option routes? I mean, they're just kind of all over the map. And Garrett Nussmeier he's constantly annoyed by just not being on the same page. And that's been the story of their year. So, and if they do run the right route, it seems like he doesn't have enough time to get the ball off.
Right.
So, to me, it's entirely an offensive problem for them, which is kind of surprising because Brian Kelly is the offensive guy. It's kind of like Auburn. You watch Auburn. Auburn is very hard to watch on offense. I can't hardly watch them, and that was kind of confusing with Hugh Freeze being an offensive guy. So, to me, it's offensive line and receiving core play. If they're on time, they're going to be dangerous.
Right, and that's one of those things for Alabama. They're going to try to break up that the timing. Both teams have struggled running the football. Will Daniel Hill be the guy that leads Alabama's running attack, or are we going to have the Jam Miller before the concussion? I feel like he hasn't been quite the same back since Missouri.
Well, I feel like Jam Miller's going to be back. I mean, I think he's playing well. I think they're picking and choosing his opportunities, but also you've got a guy like Daniel Hill really developing, and you can tell he's feeling much more comfortable in this system than he did a few weeks ago. So, I mean, you hate to see guys get hurt, and we said it at the beginning of the year when Jam Miller wasn't available till, week 5, week 6. It'd be a good learning opportunity for Kevin Riley and the rest of those guys. But Daniel Hill looks like he's finally really filling into that position.
Having a great time here at Innisfree, and again, getting you set for Alabama and LSU. I want to again tell you that we're brought to you by Yuengling Lager, a 6th-generation company, and our friend Cheryl Yuengling, who's part of the company's ownership, is a proud Alabama grad. She puts a little bit of crimson love in each one of those green bottles. The other thing I want to remind you guys of is that we got some swag here, and some of you guys have actually got some. If you want to win swag, Avenue D, for those of you on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel, hit that QR code and follow it's all free. Win cash. You win hats like we have right here. You get to pick Bama games. You get to, I want to know who the Heisman is. We got to put that in there as as something else that you can play there. So check that out. When we come back, our friend Steve Mezrano is going to join us here at Innisfree. More of the original Bama Football Tailgate Show right after this.
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll.
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire, that rush? Then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now. Let's roll.
Let's roll.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. When Hyundai introduced America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, it was one of a kind. But you know us, how can we improve on that? Tuscaloosa Hyundai was first in the nation with a 1,000,000-mile warranty on every new Hyundai. When we told customers no charge, they smiled, and you will too. At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, home of the 1,000,000-mile smile.
This isn't just a place, it's a pulse and a rhythm, where game day is more than a tradition. Heart-pounding yet? It's where the flavors are bold and the portions are generous. Mouth-watering yet? Art, music, and culture paint the city's soul. Creativity flowing yet? So whether you come for the thrill, the taste, the beauty, or the tradition, you'll stay for the Tusca life. Ready to feel it? This is Tuscaloosa. Live the Tusca life.
Get your life back when the world's gone crazy. Get your life back, and I don't mean maybe when you know you got to have a friend. You call 900-9000, 'cause Liz wins, and get your life back, baby. Get your life back, baby. Call 900-9000. Stephen Mezrano.
When you're ready to double down, dive in, drive for a show, and not look back. Roll into Pearl River Resort. From tee times to table games, water slides by day, slots by night. Savor the flavors, feel the fun, win big. Let's roll into Pearl River Resort. Must be 21 or older to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Here comes Tracy Lawrence, live for one night only. Saturday, November 15th, Pearl River Resort Silver Star Convention Center. All the hits, all night long, with CMA and ACM award winner, Tracy Lawrence.
Just the way I planned.
Tickets on sale now at PearlRiverResort.com.
When you head to the Smoky Mountains, it's only natural to visit Sevierville.
Even we had to check it out.
And we've been here our whole lives.
Experience the adventure of a lifetime.
I'm king of the world.
Even you can get a bird's eye view of the Smokies.
You're going down, Billy. Whoa.
Your Smokies start here.
Big game for Alabama, number 4 in the country as they try to get back to the SEC championship game and the college football playoff for the first time under Kalen DeBoer. Brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. The Azaleas, the Oaks, 2 amazing golf courses at Dancing Rabbit. Jake and I will be there the week after next. Make sure you guys swing over. It's an hour and a half from where we're at right now in Tuscaloosa. 2 and change from Birmingham. And obviously, we have a great time when we go over there. Also, let me introduce to the show Stephen Mezrano. He is here in person, and he is our personal attorney. We love having you here, but you're not in that in the attorney mode right now. You're in the football mode.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm waiting to see what he asks me.
Oh,
Every time he comes up, I feel like I got Bill O'Reilly just interviewing the heck out of me, grilling me.
Well, I figure if I don't ask you the hard questions, no one's going to.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that you come in and it's easy for me because he just, he's like, he's just nailing you with the question.
Hey, that's right.
So what do you have for us, Stephen?
Well, I don't know. Today, he told me I had to pick on you. So leave it alone. Let's ask you all the things today.
Well, it's good to see you and a big game for Alabama against LSU. I guess we'll just start by asking you your opinion. Do you think that this is a trap game just because LSU fans don't really think they have a chance? Or do you think that Alabama's going to be ready to go and not buy into any of that stuff?
So I don't know. We were talking about it on the way up here, and I guess I got to ask you another question, Jake. But
here it comes.
I guess as a player, I'm thinking you just see other players on the side of the field, and that's who you're playing against. I don't know if it really matters who the coach is because the coaches aren't playing the game. It's the guys that are actually playing. So I think if I'm the player, I think it was Dante Lawson who said, look, it's the guys I've been playing all year. That's who we're faced up against. I just worry if those LSU players are hyped up about who is the interim head coach. It seems like I've seen some social media that they liked him over Brian Kelly. Are they going to be hyped up to play for him? And then how does that affect a player as the start of the game before emotions kind of die out?
Great question.
Yeah, no, we've been talking about it. I mean, look, again, I know LSU's 3-5, but we've said already on the show that's a dangerous team, a lot of talent, and for a team. When you watch them in their last game, I mean, I see where Garrett Nussmeier comes off and Brian Kelly's trying to talk to him and he just avoids him, gets to the sideline. I mean, it looked like it was starting to get pretty toxic. So I think when, the coaching change is made, I think these guys get pretty fired up. They're playing to be remembered at LSU now,
Yeah.
One way to get remembered is coming into Tuscaloosa and beating Alabama when they're number 4 in the country. So, I think they're putting their time in trying to focus, and they're going to be a lot more dialed in. The key is to choke the life out of them early.
So how much does emotion play? If you're emotionally playing for a coach to the game
I think it's
itself.
I think it's a lot.
Does it carry 4 quarters, or does it carry like the momentum of the game, and then after that you're winning, then it takes over?
I think it carries into all 4 quarters if you believe a little bit. If you get punched in the face over and over and over again, it's pretty hard to still believe.
Right, like an old Tyson fight.
It's hard to be excited to go back in there and get dominated,
I was thinking that they would be very emotional for probably the first quarter, maybe second, but I think as much as Grubb has come away with changing the offense or fixing as the game goes on, right? Offensively, we do great.
Mm-hmm.
I think offensively we'll be fine. I don't know. I'm still not a Kane Womack believer. I still feel like he calls defenses at certain times, and it's like, what did you just call and why? And I feel like when you do that against LSU, we could be in trouble with Nussmeier at quarterback. I think his play calling's got to be very conservative, maybe.
We've made comments joking around, about Alabama, the Alabama defense, but I mean, I think Kane's doing a great job. What we got to remember is, I think we were spoiled at Alabama for about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
When you've got the type of depth that we had back then, where everybody too deep is going in the first 3 rounds of the draft, when you've got that's a lot of guys you can just roll in, roll out, don't have to worry about much.
Right.
Kane is dealing with a personnel. It's not a personnel problem individually at Alabama. It's a personnel problem across the country. I mean, offenses have changed in the last 10 years. It's very hard to defend offenses nowadays just because of the creativity and how guys are getting the ball distributed to all the players on the field, working it horizontally, working it vertically, RPOs. I mean, you got so many things to think about, and it's not just the old school under center. When LSU or an old school offense showed up and I was playing, the game was over before it started.
Yeah.
I mean, it just was. You weren't going to be able to run the ball.
No.
And you had to get the ball out within 3 seconds or you're getting sacked. Nowadays, I mean, guys are doing all kinds of stuff to create time, and you can do more with teams or with players that aren't the traditionally great football player. So I think Kane's doing a really good job finding ways to utilize the best players with the personnel that he has. And again, I have been meaning to talk about that because I did feel like in the previous show we said a few things that we really didn't mean. We were joking around.
Well, we meant it at the time.
Yeah.
That's how we felt.
Yeah, after Florida State, we meant it. But we don't mean it anymore.
After Florida State.
I take it all back until
No, I'm not going to take
game.
it back. I tell you what I like, though. The younger guys that have stepped up that we saw some play last year, you hadn't seen them, and now with the injuries, I'm impressed with 41, 42, 23, like where they've been all year.
Oh,
And they've come up and they're playing, and you gotta give that defensive unit credit. But there are certain plays when you go, why did you call that defense? Were we out of position? What happened? And it's in every game. I mean, just call it spade a spade. There's one or two plays that we kind of mess up defensively, right?
Yeah.
But
the busts.
But if you look at that defense, and I was one of the big criticizers that we don't have a dog on the defense.
Yeah.
The last couple of games, those guys have stepped up, and you got to give them credit for stepping up.
Yeah. Well, again, I keep making these references to 10 years ago, but back when, those teams, whenever teams tried to run the ball, which we struggle right now, defending the run. But back then, I mean, if you tried to run the ball, just our front four were. You remember? You ever watch the movie The Replacements?
Yeah.
When the replacement team just beat the hell out of the pros in the bar.
Chicks take scars.
Yeah. At one point, one guy's getting drug across the entire bar into a cabinet. That's what offensive lines used to look like 10 years ago when they tried to run the ball against us.
Yeah. Those days are over.
Yeah, you don't quite have that anymore.
Well, I want to tell you about Stephen. Top 10 best of the best attorneys 2024, the national top 100 trial lawyers, top 25 motor vehicle trial lawyers. So you get it done over there at Mezrano, and can't thank you enough for coming on and being part of our show. Tell everybody, though, where you're at if they need your help.
So we're located here in Birmingham, right on Highway 280. We're in Tuscaloosa, right behind old McFarland Mall to the right of it. Those are two of our main offices, but we have offices in every major city in the state. So any area code, just dial 900, 9000. You'll actually speak to a live attorney. And, I credit to my success to actually my parents being in a car wreck, me being in a car wreck, and just trying to understand how to fight to get what you want.
Yeah.
But I'd tell you what, man, for me, this has been the most fun I've ever had in football season, just being a part of your guys' show. And y'all allow me to come in and talk sports. And being with you guys has been so much fun. I look forward to it every week. And so I really can't thank y'all enough for just allowing me to be a part of it. And look forward to the rest of the year. And go Todd.
Hey, man, thanks. And we'll see you next week. And, guys, coming up, we got Gating and Grilling with Kevin Sport, who actually did your jingle.
Yes, Kevin's amazing.
And Carl the Cook Lewis.
Welcome to Game Day Grubs, where Southern flavor meets Saturday football. We're serving up bold, crowd-pleasing, tailgating recipes that are inspired by this week's big game.
Hey, y'all, I'm Carl Lewis, North Carolina Barbecue Pitmaster.
And I'm Kevin Sport. I love the South. I love a good tailgate, and I love some football.
Kevin, you want a dip that turns heads and clears plates?
You dang right I do, Carl.
I call it Cajun crawfish dip.
A dip.
All right, hand me
All
that knife.
There you go.
This process is called purging, Kevin.
All right.
Hold that.
Yes, sir. So we're going to purge the crawfish. We've got a big cooler.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Turn that hose on for me,
Okay,
Kevin,
sure.
right quick.
Hold that. I'll be right back.
Turn it wide open. if you
Wide
got
open?
it. Give me what you got.
Yeah. Oh, my God, man. They're coming alive, baby.
Kevin, put that plug in it.
Yeah, I got it.
Because the deal is we got to get the water above the crawfish so that it rinses them. Then we
Okay.
drain it off.
Yeah.
And we do it again. Probably going to take 3 times.
Okay. So how many pounds are in this cooler?
This is 30 pounds.
Well, how much does the recipe call for, Carl?
3 pounds.
3 pounds?
Move them around.
So just move them around?
Ooh! Ah! Open that plug up, man. Drain that water.
All right, gotcha.
All right. You get in there and stir them around.
That hurt a little bit.
Kevin, it's really important you don't put salt in here. We want them to be in their environment. put salt in there, it could cause them to seize up.
Well, we don't want them to die.
We don't.
Right.
Now open that drain plug. It's clearing up. You can see it getting clear.
Yeah,
See
it is. Yeah, a lot of live ones.
They are.
Cause yeah, we got
Talk to it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk to one over here. I'm called the cook.
Kevin.
Uh-huh.
All right, Kevin, we got them cleaned up. Let's take those mud bugs and get them in some boiling water.
The shack.
And this thing is rolling bull.
Oh, it is.
Bye, Kevin. We're gonna roll them about 3 to 5 minutes because we want these things to finish up in the dip, the bubbly, ooey gooey, cheesy dip. So,
yeah.
So they're real tender,
yeah.
not rubbery.
Yeah, man.
That dip.
Okay.
We got about 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Before ready.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. You need some
Kevin.
more joy in your life.
You're hard to deal with.
Oh, I'm easy.
Hey, Kevin.
You keep on with that. All right.
All right.
The head's got the flavor.
Okay.
I mean, if you're brave, you want to suck the head.
All right. I'll let you suck the head later.
So I would love to do that. Oh, and sometimes that happens.
Somebody from Alabama, you sure are taking a long time to do this.
I'm sorry.
2 in a row, we're doing something right. Go and toss that out of the way and bring me that cast iron skillet.
All right. Nothing like a cast iron skillet. Getting closer to the end result. Oh, you're putting it on the direct heat?
Yeah, we want to get it hot. We're going to roll this thing on through.
Cream cheese, 1.5 cups of cheddar.
Cup of sour cream.
All right.
And rake in all the onions. We're using the pickled jalapenos for the zing.
Yeah.
And we're using the fresh jalapenos for the heat. Cajun seasoning, about 2 tablespoons. Next is garlic powder, about a tablespoon of that. Smoked paprika.
Yep.
You can get the smoky flavor from the paprika. You can get the smoky flavor from the hickory pellets.
Okay.
All right. Then we just mix all this in good, incorporate everything.
All right.
Then we go to the skillet. All right, Kevin, this has got nice and creamy.
Man, it does. It looks great.
Tell you what, bring those mud bugs over here, and we're going to incorporate them out here, then we'll go back in the cook shack. Just dump them in.
Yeah, dump them in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great. It's got the right mix.
All right, let's give it about 20 minutes.
20
I want it
minutes.
to get really bubbly in there and finish cooking those mud bugs. You want to take a look?
Yeah, yeah.
Look at this bubbling, though, man. Look.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't that pretty?
Oh, gosh, yeah. That is going to be so good.
Oh, yeah.
Sprinkling that cheese all over the top, and then you got your bell pepper.
Yes, sir.
And it's just bubbling.
Look here. Here's the final beauty.
Oh, man. And there are the chives. Ready?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's roll.
Let's roll, baby. Hungry for more? Follow us at Gating and Grilling on all your socials. We've got some tips, we've got some tricks, we've got some flavors that's going to take your tailgate to a new level. We'll see you at the tailgate.
Oregon versus Iowa. The Ducks waddled east to Iowa City for this Big Ten showdown. Both are 4-1 in conference play, and the winner still has a playoff shot. The Hawkeyes have a solid ground game, but are last in the conference in passing. If the visitors can force the home team into passing situations, their chances of posting a W will increase. If it walks like a duck, looks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Leonard's loser, Iowa. Auburn versus Vanderbilt. The War Eagles fly to Music City to face the Cinderella of the SEC. The Tigers have 4 conference losses by 7 points or less. The boys from the Plains are operating under interim coach D.J. Durkin and catching 6.5 points. The Nashville Yacht Club staged a 21-point fourth-quarter rally last week in Austin, but came up short. The Sailors have to run the table to have a shot in the playoffs. The Doors are averaging 37 points per game under the signal calling of Diego Pavia, and the Doors dinghy should still be afloat when the final gun sounds. Leonard's loser, Auburn. Georgia versus Mississippi State. It's Bulldogs versus Bulldogs in this nooner in Starkville on ESPN. And both Bully, State's mascot, and Uga are English Bulldogs. The Red Clay Hounds from Athens are coming off a win over the Gators in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party in Jacksonville, moving them to 7-1, while State squeezed by Arkansas by 3 to go to 5-4. Georgia will be looking to keep its hopes of an SEC title and playoff spot on the table, while the home Bulldog looks to become bowl eligible with a big upset. It will depend on who has the meanest Bulldog. Leonard's loser, Mississippi State. Navy versus Notre Dame. The midshipmen set sail to South Bend for this Saturday night clash with the Pope's pupils. The Irish lost tight games early to Miami and Texas A&M, but are riding a 6-game winning streak, adjusting to a balanced offense and a turnover-happy defense that leads the nation with 16 INTs. The home team is a 26.5 favorite, considering the Sailors lost their first game to North Texas last week and coming in at 7-1. This looks a tad excessive. Leonard's loser in a close one, Navy. Texas Tech versus BYU. The city of Lubbock is the center of the football universe this Saturday when it hosts ESPN College Game Day, and the number 8 Cougars try to maul the number 9 Red Raider in front of 60,000 fans. The cheapest ticket for this contest is over $400, too expensive for Percy's pocketbook. Texas Tech is favored by over 10 points for good reason. Their offense and defense attack both are ranked top 10, while BYU ranks way back in the 30s on both sides of the ball. This will be a battle between the talented Cougar quarterback Bear Bachmeier and stud muffin linebackers Bailey and Rodriguez of the Tech defense. My heart says BYU, but my head says Tech. This ain't a Valentine's Day date. It's top 10 football. Leonard's loser, BYU. And remember, if you can't wear a smile, wear a white hat so we can tell you from the bad guys. Get me out of here, Percy.
The original Bama Football Tailgate Show is on the air. Alabama football is rolling, and we've got you covered with a breakdown of the game matchup, an SEC preview, and all the fun of an afternoon on the quad. With national championship winning quarterback Jake Coker and CoverCrimson.com host Mick Gillispie. The Bama Football Tailgate Show is presented by Pearl River Resort Casino and Hotel in Choctaw, Mississippi. Let's play! Featuring the Sportsbook at the Timeout Lounge, Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. Also brought to you by Tuscaloosa Hyundai. New thinking, new possibilities. Genesis of Tuscaloosa. Luxury with a national championship service department. Yingling Lager. Yingling, America's oldest brewery. The only beer you need at a Bama tailgate party. The Floribama world-famous beach bar and lounge in Orange Beach. Sevierville, your Smokies start here. NewLifeArt.com, publisher of fine art editions by Daniel A. Moore. Use the code BAMATAILGATE for amazing deals at NewLifeArt.com.
And also brought to you by Visit Tuscaloosa, where tradition meets adventure. Alabama personal injury lawyer Steve Mezrano. Mezrano wins, we got you.
Now the host of the original Bama Tailgate Show, here's Mick Gillispie.
Back to the Bama Tailgate Show. as Alabama gets set to take on LSU. That is a 6:30 kickoff at Bryant Denny Stadium. Great to have our friend Chris Lowe from On3 join us, as this segment's brought to you by the great people at Visit Sevierville. And I'm telling you right now is a great time to visit Sevierville. The leaves have changed. I was just there last week, by the way, in the Smoky Mountains, and you can get there, go hiking, go to the national parks and the walking trails and the zip line adventures and horseback riding, all that stuff in Sevierville. And Sevierville Winterfest is actually kicking off today. So check that out. It's all the way through February 16th. And there are millions of lights along the parkway in Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. And guests can also enjoy special Winterfest attractions like Shadrick's Christmas Wonderland. That's an LED drive-through light show. And you can find out more information on Harvest Fest, Winterfest, all that stuff at visitsevierville.com. And besides that, we also have Talking Fish.
When you head to the Smoky Mountains, it's only natural to visit Sevierville. Say it with me now. It ain't that hard. Sevierville. Give me some fit. Your Smokies start here.
All right, Chris Lowe, Mick Gillispie, Bama, LSU. This game is so different now that Brian Kelly was fired by the powers that be in Louisiana. We kind of talked about this during the off week, but now you get into this matchup between Alabama and LSU, and I'll be honest, not really sure what to expect from LSU.
Well, it's good. They better get used to it, because two of the next three teams they play, or certainly the SEC teams, Mick, are going to have interim coaches. You know, Frank Wilson at LSU, DJ Durkin when they play out Auburn there at the end of the year on the Plains. So it is a little bit different. And sometimes when you've had a shakeup like this and a new coach comes in, the pressure's off, kids play a little looser. I think that team genuinely likes Frank Wilson. I'm talking about LSU right now. So you don't really know sometimes exactly what you're getting into if you're looking at it from Bama's perspective. Now, I think playing in Tuscaloosa makes this an easier lift. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy lift, but I think this is one where you'd certainly, when you don't really know, you're flying a little bit blind, Mick. I think you'd certainly rather be playing this kind of game at home as opposed on the road. But it's still a talented LSU team. They've had trouble scoring points. They are on defense certainly capable of winning against anybody they play. And that's the thing, that if you're Alabama and make them sort of play from behind on the road, I think that's going to be really key in this game. And Bama, you know, they did do that against South Carolina, albeit, but they've done that in some other games. And when they do that with their ability to stop people on defense, because I think one of the maybe the more underrated parts of what Bama's done since that FSU game is the way they played on defense, in particular in the second half. Kane Womack's guys have really stepped it up. So many games in the SEC are won. And there were 6 games last week, Mick, 6. 5 of them were decided by a touchdown or less. So you have got to play winning defense in the fourth quarter, and Kane Womack's group has done that.
You know, one of the things that one of the things I've heard from fans of other teams when they talk about Alabama is how disciplined the Crimson Tide are. I've seen the same thing, how disciplined they are, and it's helped them in these close games. It's helped them win close games because of the fact that they are disciplined, and that's been one of the keys to success. But when you play close games, sometimes you lose. And I think that for this Alabama team, Chris, eventually they're going to have to kind of start to separate themselves a little bit from the competition, or they're going to end up falling into one of these games that they can't come back and win, or they lose a close game.
Yeah, I think fans in the SEC really, to some degree, Mick, are going to have to maybe reprogram their minds. When you look at the league this year, and there's just not a lot of separation, period. I mean, take Kentucky. Kentucky really has Texas beaten a few weeks ago. And down the goal line. They can't get it in. They lose in overtime. And then they come back the next week. Tennessee just absolutely boat races them. And they beat Auburn this past weekend, which ultimately cost Hugh Freeze his job. We've seen games like that, those types of games all year long. Mississippi State's another great example. Early in the year, they outplayed Tennessee the entire game. They lose the balls in overtime. They outplayed Texas, way ahead of Texas. Texas comes back and beats them. This past week, though, they're able to get Arkansas, snapping I think a 15-game SEC losing streak. The league's been like that. And you know what? Guess what? Next year, it's only going to get harder when you go to 9 league games. So I think there's a lot of reassessing, rethinking among fans and donors and boosters what constitutes a good season. There's going to be a lot of 3- and 4-loss teams in the SEC next year in particular. They're going to be pretty good football teams.
Why aren't we seeing the same balance in the Big Ten? You know, like the SEC has a lot of teams near the top, but the Big Ten, it's like they're so separated, the elite teams and then a bunch of teams down at the bottom. It feels like the SEC is just, there's really no super elite team, but maybe it's because everybody's so good.
Well, I think part of it is what's happened in the portal. And there's more of a level playing field. I think the SEC schools all the way down through have invested a ton of money. I mean, who would have thought 10 years ago that Ole Miss would spend somewhere between $13, $14, $15 million plus on its roster? Now, nobody knew what NIL was then, but you've got a lot of schools like that. You know, Tennessee has spent $20 to $22 million on their roster this year. I think that's part of it. But it's almost flipped, I would say, in some ways. I thought the SEC, when Bama and Georgia were dominated, 15 and 16 and 17, of course, LSU in 19, and Bama again in 20. I thought the league in that stretch was pretty top-heavy in the SEC. Sort of the same teams, Georgia, Bama, Georgia. As I said, LSU in 19. And then there was a gap, a pretty wide gap between those teams and everybody else. Well, that gap has closed in a hurry in this league, and I think you're seeing that every week, and I think we'll continue to see. I think there's still some surprises down the road this year in the SEC when you look at who has to play whom. You think about it. You got A&M has to play at Texas that last game. Vandy has to play at Tennessee. I mean, the mere fact that we were still talking about Vandy in a playoff race is, I think, is all the perspective you need of what the SEC has become now.
Bama against LSU is such a tough game for the Crimson Tide because of the fact that LSU has talent. You know, they're going to be really motivated to beat Alabama, and the coaching, hey, they can do whatever they want. I mean, like, you know, it's not like they're going to change anything that's not already happened, right? I mean, that you worry about getting fired now. I feel like you can throw caution to the wind in a situation like this. How can Alabama be prepared to take on an LSU team that could, you know, literally go out there and roll the dice a lot?
It's tough. It's not easy. I think coaches would tell you these are scary types of games when you're going up against a team that's, as you said, throw caution to the wind. They're going to roll the dice, really anything goes. I think if you're Bama, though, you've had a week off. You've had a chance to sort of rest and get healthy, get your minds right. This team has been, to me, exemplary in the way they have responded from that first stinker against Florida State, in the way they have done what they needed to do. And I give Caleb and his staff, I mean, the top all the way down, I think the way they've communicated, the way they've gotten their points across, the way they practice this team, there's just been a harder edge period. You've seen more emotion. You've seen these guys respond. And to get to this point, and again, coaches aren't going to say it, but I still think, Mick, you got to have those types of games. Maybe you don't want to lose them. And I think you got to have a game like they had against South Carolina 2 weeks ago. That looked like a heavy-legged Alabama football team that had played 5 straight weeks against SEC teams. That's hard to do. I don't care who you're playing. And most of those games were against ranked teams. And to me, it says a lot more about Alabama, positive, pro, that they could, in a tough place to play, could win it. And then you get a week off, an extra week off after that, than it does, well, maybe they weren't focused, maybe they didn't have their A game. You just got to be able in this league more so than ever find ways to win those kind of games. Regroup, catch your breath, which they should have had a chance to do, and now you sort of can taste it. You got 3 games in the league. You're going to be favored in all 3 games, but 3 teams, even Auburn. I mean, I think Auburn is a talented football team. Even with the games they lost before Freeze was fired, they weren't getting blown out. They just couldn't finish games. Didn't have any offense. So these are 3 teams that certainly could beat Alabama. I just haven't seen Alabama since that debacle against Florida State play what I would call a bad football team. I haven't seen them play with any lack of inspiration or any lack of focus. You nailed it. They play with a lot of discipline. They got a lot of players who stepped up and played key roles. And I like what the 2 coordinators have done. Ryan Grubb has been lights out on key plays. When they needed to dial something up, he's done it. And as I mentioned earlier, Kane Womack and his defense, getting it done when it counts in the fourth quarter.
Heisman odds right now heading into this week, 3-man race, former Alabama player, Julian Sand, now the Ohio State quarterback, plus 175. You got Fernando Mendoza, Indiana quarterback, plus 225. Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson, plus 350. I'll tell you what Ty has in his back pocket is a bunch of big games. LSU's a big game. Oklahoma's a big game. The Iron Bowl's a big game, and an SEC championship game if Alabama were to get there. So he should have a lot of opportunities to make up ground in this Heisman race.
It's I think it's a dead heat. And all 3 of those kids you mentioned, we could probably make a strong case for all of them. Mendoza's numbers might be a little bit better, but all 3 of their numbers, I mean, and their impact on their football team. I was in Columbus last week, Mick, and boy, Sands a first-year starter. And you're right, a former quote-unquote teammate of Ty Simpson. I actually wrote about that last week, that for about 4 weeks, they were on the same team together practicing. And now here they are, 2 of the top Heisman candidates in all of college football. And think about the what-ifs. What if Nick doesn't retire in 23? I don't think Sand transfers. What does that mean for Simpson? Austin Mack's probably not coming in because he came in to follow Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer. I just find those types of things fascinating. But, boy, he is really good, accurate, great release, just in the pocket, one cool customer.
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll.
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire, that rush? Then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now. Let's roll.
Let's roll.
Why walk when you can fly? Tap into your inner eagle. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
When you head to the Smoky Mountains, it's only natural to visit Sevierville.
Even we had to check it out.
And we've been here our whole lives.
Experience the adventure of a lifetime.
I'm king of the world.
Even you can get a bird's eye view of the Smokies.
You're going down, Billy. Whoa.
Your Smokies start here.
Touchdown flavor, Gulf Coast style. Whether you're here for the big game or just hungry for a win, Floribama Old River Grill has you covered. Catch every pass, every play, and every moment on our wall of big screens while you enjoy fresh Gulf seafood, legendary burgers, and ice-cold drinks. With waterfront views and game day energy like no other, this is where football meets paradise. Grab your crew, bring your team spirit, and make Floribama Old River Grill your home field advantage this season, where the food, drinks, and football are always a win. Located across from the world-famous Floribama or online at FloribamaOldRiverGrill.com.
Get your life back when the world's gone crazy. Get your life back, and I don't Call 909,000 Stephen Mezrano.
Tracy Lawrence, live for one night only. Saturday, November 15th, Pearl River Resort Silverstar Convention Center. All the hits, all night long, with CMA and ACM award winner Tracy Lawrence. Just the way I planned. Tickets on sale now at pearlriverresort.com.
Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. When Hyundai introduced America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, it was one of a kind. But you know us, how can we improve on that? Tuscaloosa Hyundai was first in the nation with a 1,000,000-mile warranty on every new Hyundai. When we told customers no charge, they smiled, and you will too. At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, home of the 1,000,000-mile smile.
Roll Tide, everybody, and welcome back to Innisfree as we get you set for the Crimson Tide and the LSU Tigers. That's Jay Coker. I'm Mick Gillispie, and it is just fantastic to talk football with you on this game day. And what I want to say before we get anywhere else is we appreciate the gang at Black Belt Outdoor. They're in the heart of the Black Belt region of Alabama, and since then they have expanded their coverage into 13 counties in central Alabama. They offer static and digital billboards to meet the needs of their customers and advertisers, and Jake and I are on some of those billboards. So I'm sure some of you guys that have rolled into town, you're like, hey, I know those two guys, and that would be us on those billboards. Our show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. And we'll be there not this week, but next week. So come by and say hi to us. But they got the Timeout Sports Lounge, which is a Vegas-style sports book. I just got back from Vegas, and you don't have to go. It's an hour and a half from here, 2 and change from Birmingham. And that's the Timeout Sports Lounge. Good to see you, Jake, and it's good to see Cruz Oxenreider. Good to see you, brother. Let me go ahead and unmute you there.
How's it going?
Yeah, good to see
be
you.
Back.
Good to see you, brother.
I know.
Hey, saw a clip of you earlier this week talking about the LSU Alabama matchup.
This guy's everywhere.
It was, hey man, it was pretty eloquent. I'll give it to you. It was almost like listening to Bert Kreischer talking about drinking.
Oh my God,
it was awesome.
I love drinking.
I mean, hey, there's two things I love in this world: it's alcohol and it's Alabama football. So it's good. I'm fine with it.
Look, I want to talk football, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I really want to talk about is on your socials.
Yeah.
People ask me, they're like, Mick, we got a ticket. You want to come to the game? My man Wes is trying to get me in the stadium all the time. And I'm like, I'm kind of a box guy now. And the reason why,
Nice.
no, the reason why is that I feel like I go there and there's always that one Tennessee woman that, did you see this?
What am I missing here?
This Tennessee fan gets arrested at the game.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's posting every angle of it.
Honestly, it has gone down as my most viral video that I've ever did. So someone sent me the actual video. He was sitting in the section, and so he DM me, be like, bro, look what just happened. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna post this. It went mega viral. I think it's at like 3 million views on Instagram. On Twitter, I think it had like 5 million views. Like, it was probably my most viral one, and it came at the expense of a Tennessee fan.
What happened? What'd she do? Do we know?
Yeah, so I got the backstory. So we were down there. They're sitting in the the downstairs section where all the recruits are for everyone. And I guess from the moment the game started, she was just showing, like, being a total fool, like, cussing at people.
Okay.
And I guess she took someone's like and started like hitting people in the back of the head with it. Well, I guess this lady had turned around and like snapped on her, and she like lost her mind, and then she just kept dropping every cuss word you could think of. Well, eventually, people had a problem with it, so they called security. She comes, and then her husband, God bless that man.
He looked like he was calm.
He was like, "This is not my first rodeo with this woman," and so they grabbed her, and then apparently they were clapping. So she went back. So they were just going to escort her out, not arrest her. So then I guess as she was walking back, the lady who had like called security on her, she went back to hit her. Yeah. So and then the cop saw it. So that's when everything just went.
That was when things went haywire.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, that leads me into the next thing I want to ask you guys about. And this is from a story on the Big Lead, right?
Okay.
And basically what it is college football's schools that make the most money selling booze.
Ooh.
So do you guys have any idea? Just throw it out there, Jake.
LSU's got to be first.
I'm actually going to go Big Ten here because I've lived in Big Ten country for a while, and I was at the game last year. I'm going to say Madison, Wisconsin.
You're exactly right. Madison, Wisconsin.
Whoa, here we go.
Wisconsin is number 1.
Yes.
Nebraska's number 2.
I can see that.
And coming in at number 3,
Ooh.
Neyland Stadium, Tennessee. Coming in at number 4, our friends from LSU. Minnesota's number 5, Michigan 6, Indiana 7, West Virginia 8, Kentucky 9, Illinois 10. Bama's not in the list.
I mean, have you seen expensive drinks are at that place?
And that's what my point was. When I saw this, I thought to myself, like, and I've actually told a senior rep, and I don't want to get into it too much, but that works for a major brewery, asked me about being in Bryant Denny. I said, don't do it. They're not there to sell you beer. The beers are way too expensive. Yeah. They got they don't have pros. It takes a pro to get a beer fast.
Yeah.
You go back behind this bar at Innisfree, these guys sling drinks. They don't do that at Bryant Denny Stadium. That's why Bryant Denny Stadium isn't on this list. When they're ready to start selling beer, they're going to come here and get these guys.
100%. Well, here's the thing. When we were at the Wisconsin game, it was like a conveyor belt where they were just, Spotted Cow is the drink of choice there.
Thank you.
Spotted Cow there,
brother.
And it's like $8 a beer. It was awesome. Like, I loved every part of it. It was so good. And that doesn't shock me. Ooh, that's nice.
And that is so cool, man.
That is nice.
Hey, if there's a show that loves the men in blue more than ours, I want to see it. By the way, really cool coin from one of the men in blue. Hey, roll Tide.
Gotta love it. Roll Tide.
Those guys do a great job, man. We're all about them. So thank you. I got chills right now. Jake's got 3 family members. His siblings are all military.
I feel like Toby Keith needs to start playing.
Yeah.
I feel like Jake Coker getting ready to run through a Texas A&M defender right now. I'm feeling jacked right now.
All right. Thank you, man. Thank you as you guys hang out with us. And for all of those guys who's hanging out with some guys that came all the way down from Richmond, Virginia to see us. Jake, I've seen you talking to a bunch of people, man. You guys that watch us on the Bama YouTube channel, listen on the radio, you're the best. What does Bama need to do, Cruz, to beat LSU?
So, look, I am actually very nervous for this game. If Brian Kelly was coaching, I would say we're going to win by 20. I think they're playing with their hair on fire. It's basically just going to be like, hey, don't give up the big play because they have that big play ability. I think they have great wide receivers. Nuss has not played up to expectations this year. But I feel like they're going to let it loose. So not giving up those explosive down the field plays, like the plays of 25 or more. I think too, they are probably one of the worst running or rushing teams in the SEC, I'd say. And our rush defense hasn't been spectacular this year. We're definitely a second half team. So just keeping everything in front of us, not letting the momentum of the game get away. And I think we should be fine. I think time of possession is going to be a really big one too. I think they're going to want to keep Ty and company off the field. So I expect a lot of long, lengthy Vanderbilt-ish drives for them, but we're the better team. It's in Bryant Denny. It's going to be a night game. Like I think this is where we make a statement. And also, the bore off a bye week. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, right. Should we feel sorry for LSU?
Dangerous man.
Should we feel sorry for LSU?
No.
I don't know about that. I don't feel sorry for them.
I'm sick of their fans acting like they don't have a good team. They got Harold Perkins. They got Garrett Nussmeier. They got 2 great wide receivers. One of them transferred from here.
Yeah.
And Aaron Anderson. They're a good team.
Well, I'll tell you this. When I was at Florida State, Jimbo Fisher used to always talk about not being afraid to fail. LSU has nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing. Because if they lose this game, they're expected to lose it. Who knows if they even are going to be bowl eligible? I mean, their season could fall apart.
Yeah,
the Super Bowl is this weekend. All they want to do is beat Alabama. That makes their season, and that's what makes them memorable. So they got the talent to do it. They just got to put it together. Can they be consistent enough in the passing game to beat us?
It's a lot of the 2021 scenario. Like, we knew Coach O was going to get fired at the end of the year. We knew it was last year. They came out with we were number 2 in the country, home game, night game, and they took it to us. Came down to the last play.
Hail Mary on the last play.
Yeah. And then you start holding your breath. I went back and watched the game, and there was a flag on the last play of the game. You're like, if this is a PI, they're going to get one more. Luckily, it's holding. But man, they played spectacularly that game, and that was actually the Dallas Turner welcome party where we got to see him. Look, they have the talent, just as good as anyone. I'm terrified if they end up getting the right coach in place there, because that is a place where you can come in and immediately make an impact in college football. I pray to God Marcus Freeman stays up in South Bend, Indiana, because if Marcus Freeman, they were smart enough to go to Baton Rouge, that would be a terrifying thing for us.
Well, didn't they just go to Notre Dame for a head coach? Didn't work out.
Can you imagine? That'd be crazy. Two Notre Dame coaches.
Would Brian Kelly go back to Notre Dame?
No.
Like a trade?
Notre Dame is LSU's double 18. I mean,
this one didn't work out. Let's get this guy.
I mean, look, he won. He took Brian Kelly's players to a national championship game, and if it wasn't, and they had a crazy comeback. I mean, it could happen. I think Marcus Freeman has also done something that a lot of people can't: make Notre Dame cool.
Yeah,
to recruit. It's got to be so hard to recruit.
Like, I'm Irish Catholic. It's never not been cool for us.
Yeah.
I don't, I've told you this before. Grew up a Notre Dame fan.
I'm not gonna lie. We played Notre Dame in the Champ Sports Bowl my freshman year at Florida State. I mean, a bunch of big dudes, gold helmets, shipping up to Boston's play, and it was oh wow, that's kind of crazy.
I know.
Great song. Jesus is awesome. I will say. Rudy coming out.
All right, yeah, and even though we know Rudy's fake,
he was offsides.
Yeah, he was offside. All right, quickly, and then Cruz, you stick for the rest of the show. Quickly though, what I want to know is this: can Bama stay focused?
Yeah, I think right now, look, I think a lot of the guys from last year still have the sour taste in their mouth where we had a virtual playoff spot ready to go, and we let it fall out of our fingers. And this last stretch of the game or the season last year, I think that they are hungry. I think they're determined. I think the games that we're winning close were the games we were not winning last year.
Right.
And I think this team has a no nonsense mentality. I think it's all strictly business. I think we can stay focused, but I will say this though. The mental, and Jake, you can attest to this too, for last year, such an emotional roller coaster for the LSU game in 2015. You had the bye week, Leonard Fournette coming in. It was that next week against Mississippi State where there was like, hey, there's a potential upset brewing. It was in Starkville.
Right.
Dak was there. And then you guys just say, you were like, no, we're putting that to bed.
And then we just hit the easy button with Derrick Henry, and they just ran through him.
I gotta ask, how much fun was it just handing him off the football?
Man, it was crazy because, sometimes I'd hand the ball off to him, and I'd turn around and I'd just watch him run, and I'd see people take the wrong angle on purpose so they didn't have to meet him head on. I was just like, you just want to sit back there and laugh.
Oh, my God.
Because either they were getting just – when we played Ole Miss – unfortunately lost to him in 2015. I saw him probably play the angriest I've ever seen him play. And sometimes, I'd hand the ball off and throw it to him. I do remember I threw it to him one time, man. And he did not care about breaking a tackle, didn't care about scoring a touchdown. It was like he put crosshairs on a dude's forehead, and he was on the train tracks. Right. And it was one of the few times I've looked at somebody get hit and be like, man, I feel bad for you.
That sucks for you, buddy. Didn't go too well.
Yeah.
But look, we're going to pick games when we come back. Couple things I do want to tell you guys is that the QR code is on the bottom of the screen for those of you guys that are hanging out with us on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. We got swag. We got weekly cash prizes. You get to pick games, hang out with us. That's their Avenue D. It's called Mick Nation. I'm sorry it's not called Jake Nation, but it's called Mick Nation.
Coker County.
Yeah. A state on the group. When we come back, though, we're going to pick our games and talk more Alabama and LSU. The Bama Football Tailgate Show continues to roll right after this.
Well, howdy, fans, and welcome to week 11 of Leonard's Losers. The LSPM, that's the little smart pill machine, was OD'd on Halloween treats last week and sputtered at 21-10. The ranks of the undefeated was reduced by 2 as Navy and Georgia Tech fell from grace. This leaves only BYU, Indiana, Ohio State, and Texas A&M. Let's get cranking on this week's losers. Citadel versus Ole Miss. Number 7, Johnny Reb entertains the Bulldogs from Charleston Saturday afternoon at Vaught Hemingway in this non-conference debacle. The home team opened as a prohibitive 37-point favorite. It will be a long ride back to the Palmetto State for the Soldiers, but they can use their time wisely by counting the $500,000 payout they receive. Just make sure it ain't Confederate money. Leonard's loser, hotty toddy, Citadel. Florida State versus Clemson. 2 teams that were feared on Saturdays are struggling and hoping to salvage the season. The Pickens County Felines have been requested to refrain from using the term Death Valley since losing 4 at home. The Tigers opened as 16.5-point favorites and quickly dropped to 3. In his storied career, Leonard ain't never seen that. Dabo's derriere may start smoking soon if the Cats can't produce a home win. Osceola best have his sharpest spearhead in place. Leonard's loser, Florida State. Texas A&M versus Missouri. These two meet after bye weeks for both, with the Aggies riding the show pony in the polls at 8-0, and the Tigers coming in at 6-2 and starting a freshman quarterback. The Felines will rely heavily on their top-ranked rushing attack. The Aggies are a solid 7-point favorite, but the Felines are at home, and it will take the 12th man to pull off an Aggie win. Leonard's loser in an upset, Texas A&M. Indiana versus Penn State. This is the first time in Nittany Lion history they have faced 2 top 10 teams in consecutive games. The Felines have lost 5 in a row. The boys from Happy Valley will play their first game in a month in this nooner on Fox. State is a 14-point home dog, but the Hoosiers may be wishing they were back home again in Indiana at the final gun. Leonard's loser in an upset, Indiana. Florida versus Kentucky. The SEC Network brings you the giant water lizards invading the Lexington grocery store Saturday night. The Gators have won 6 of the last 10 matchups in this series. How about 6 of the last 11? Leonard's loser, Florida. LSU versus Alabama. The boys from the Bayou head to Tuscaloosa for the 90th meeting, and interim head coach Frank Wilson making his debut. Quite an ominous challenge for his first game. Alabama's offense is one of the best under signal caller Ty Simpson, who has established himself as a Heisman candidate. The tide is high, and Mike the Tiger will have to count on some Bama miscues to keep his head above water Saturday night. Leonard's loser, LSU.
Fans, we're going to take a break right now and hear a word from Sponsorsville. We'll be right back with more Leonard's Losers.
Alabama and LSU, the matchup in Tuscaloosa, and we appreciate all of you guys for hanging out with us on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel or listening on radio on the number one show to get you ready on a game day on our flagship 106.9, or how about our friends in Pensacola on Fox Sports Pensacola, or in Jasper on I see Timmons and the gang here from our affiliate in Jasper, WJLX. Wherever you might be listening to the show, roll tide, everybody, and thank you for being here, and we appreciate it so much. Jay Coker, Mick Gillispie, Cruz Oxenreider hanging out. We have a special guest that we're expecting sometime soon. This segment's brought to you by our friends at Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. A lot of you guys have commented on the commercial that has Jake Coker basically saying that, he's still in the tunnel and let's roll. And what's that?
Basically saying I still call the
You
plays.
still call the plays? Which I love that commercial, by the way.
That was a tough one. That was a tough line.
Well, I was there. What people don't realize, and we're about to do another commercial, is that it takes a long time to pull that off.
Yeah.
You killed it on that one. And I'd love to say that you didn't because it would be funny, but you
appreciate
actually
that.
did a good job. You
Yeah,
actually
appreciate
did a
that.
really good job from the start. I couldn't even sit there and not laugh on our spot together. But anyway, look, Pearl River Resort's an hour and a half from here, from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. They have Timeout Sports Lounge, Vegas-style sports book. And you can go to that sports book, and it's just like being in Vegas. All right, guys, let's pick some games.
Let's do it.
Let's start with the game that everyone in this room cares about, Auburn at Vanderbilt. No, I'm just kidding. Number 15, Vandy, giving up 6.5. 45.5 is the over-under. Cruz, you're our guest. Tell me why Auburn's going in there and upsetting those guys.
Well, I'm not going to tell you that. I think it's going to be the complete opposite. Look, Auburn is a broken program, and I had 3 hot takes for the beginning of the season. I said that Hugh Freeze wouldn't make it to the Iron Bowl. I said Brian Kelly would be done at LSU. I didn't know they fired him halfway through. And then the other one, I said Florida was going to make the playoffs. So I got 2 out of the 3 right. I think Vandy is fighting for their playoffs lives, which is a sentence I never thought I would ever say, that Vanderbilt is fighting for a college football playoff spot. It's at home. It's homecoming in Vandy. I think the style of play that Vanderbilt plays with is a bad matchup against Auburn, because Auburn loves to slow it down. They have a great front 7, but I will say that they can be ran on. So I like Vandy in this game. Give me a low scoring game. Give me 20-13 Vandy.
Oh wow. Diego's
So
going
they
to
cover by a half point.
Let me tell you something, and I always, everybody wants to hear what Jake says. Diego's not losing to Auburn, okay?
He's undefeated.
Thank you.
I mean, would you have ever thought we'd be talking about Auburn being a trap game for Vandy?
Yeah, right.
I mean, how crazy is this?
What a world 2025.
I mean, what has NIL done to the sport?
Oh my God. I mean, look, it's going to be a great audition to see Cam Coleman. That way, when he comes to Tuscaloosa next year, I've loved watching our future all-star wide receiver play this year. So it's great. But I will give Auburn this. They have a fantastic defense that a lot of you, and like I saw a stat.
That's why these games have been so close.
So there's a stat, and it's an absolutely insane stat. There have been 3 teams all year in college football that have not given up 24 points or more. It is Ohio State, Indiana, and Auburn. Are the only 3 defenses that have.
DJ Durkin.
So I mean, look, that is not a guy I want running my football team. But Auburn's they got so much talent with just terrible leadership, and honestly, I expect them to play a lot better. I am terrified for the Iron Bowl.
Can we be terrified about LSU before we're terrified about the Iron Bowl?
You know me. I like to look ahead.
So who do you have? You got Vandy?
Actually. You know how I think about these things.
Oh, boy.
6.5 makes no sense.
Oh boy.
You watch now. Well, I mean, I agree with Cruz. The only reason these games have been close when you watch how bad their offense is, you realize how good their defense is.
Right.
6.5 still kind of a crazy number to me. I would think Vandy would be around that 10.5 point favorite. Like I always say, Vegas knows.
Yeah.
Vandy sounds too easy to me. I got to go with Auburn.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Vandy is going to run Auburn off the field. Diego Pavia owns these guys. I don't know if you saw it. He beat them when he was at New Mexico. Come on.
That was Brian Harsin.
Let's be honest. How many daddies does Auburn have now?
Listen. Diego said that he's going to beat Auburn with 3 different coaches.
Oh, what a flex.
Yeah. And Auburn's going to have to deal with it.
He should have said that.
You never lost Auburn.
He should have said that.
He beat Auburn at 2 different schools.
Yeah.
I did a good job signaling plays one year.
Hey, I love
2 years.
The first one, I told him this. Baron Huber, I watched that game with Baron Huber, and when they won, we were all jumping around like we won, just because we hate Auburn. So, all right, here's.
I was going to ask. What's the nicer championship ring, though? The Florida State one or the Alabama one?
You can't ask him that. Almost like kids. Ask him what one of his 2 kids he loves most. Well, it's Palmer. All right, second question or game. Navy is at number 10 Notre Dame. The Irish 26.5 points. They're giving up to the midshipmen. It's a 57.5 over/under. Jake, you're a guy that grew up in a military family. We got this amazing coin today from one of our friends with the PD here.
You know, that's a high line. And Navy's, I mean, they've had a pretty good year. So, I mean, look, they're coming off a loss. Didn't they just lose to UTSA last week? High line, I would have expected it to be around 17, something like that. So I got to go with Notre Dame on this.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a sloppy, non-sexy game. I think Notre Dame's just a little too good. I think right now they're peaking at the right time. I mean, they had a brutal 2-game stretch to start the season. I picked against them a lot this year just because I thought they lost too much, but they're getting right at the high time. I think Jeremiah Love is the best running back in the country. I think we're going to see a lot of him. I expect this game. I think Notre Dame wins by 2 scores.
But I hope Navy beats them.
Yeah, same.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Listen, there's no chance that Notre Dame is going to beat Navy. No, I'm just kidding. Notre Dame's going to kill them. It's going to be close. I would love to see Navy go in there and put up a good fight, you know. But they don't have Roger Staubach as their quarterback. This is going to be ugly. It's going to be a lot of Notre Dame scoring. You're going to hear the fight song a lot. No Manti Te'o. They don't need him today. All right, Florida at Kentucky. This is an SEC matchup that features 2 ships that are moving in the same direction. And those ships are going down. There's a hole in both ships. I had Chris Lowe on the show. You guys know this earlier. He alluded to the fact that maybe Stoops is in a little bit of trouble right now in the Bluegrass State, right? That puts Kentucky plus 3.5 against Florida at home. 43.5 is the over/under. How could you fire your coach after they just went to Auburn and won 10-3?
I mean, when you're done, you're done. I mean, that's the best way to describe it.
What was the line?
3.5.
Oh,
3.5.
Well, look, Florida to me is much like LSU. They got players. I mean, you watch that game against Georgia last week. They're capable of making plays and beating the best teams. It's the SEC narrative that we always say: if you're consistent, you win. If you're not, you're not going to make it in the SEC. You're not going to be playoff bound. I think that's probably a pretty good line. I think Florida probably comes in and beats them, but this is at this point kind of the who cares bowl.
Can he save his job?
Yeah. I was at the Florida Georgia game last week in Jacksonville, and Florida is, like I said, they're my dark horse team. I picked DJ Lagway to win the Heisman. Like I am a full believer in that squad just because of the talent they have around them. I know that they have some key injuries for Florida. I still think that they are a much better team. I think they're playing inspired for next year. I know last week was a devastating loss for them, but I still think they're just a better team than Kentucky. I like them to go in there and win by a touchdown. I think it'll be a good showing by DJ Lagway. But I think Florida's just too good.
Yeah. That Florida Georgia game was pretty good. I was
awesome.
What was going to be better, that game or the group Florida Georgia line? And then I was like watching that, and I was like, you know what? If the officials wouldn't have robbed Florida of that pass at the end of the game, they probably won.
Look, okay, well, two things here. Florida Georgia still needs to pay me my royalties for the song Cruz, and then also that was a catch. The hands were underneath the ball.
Yeah, how do you not give the guy the catch?
I mean, look, we were sitting around Georgia fans, and I'm telling you, they were nervous. And that game was like the definition of the trap game, because like that game is like, you throw records out the window, they're coming at you full speed. Like we've seen it before. But yeah, I like I said, I think Florida, man, I want Brent Key for Florida, because I think what he's doing at Georgia Tech, he can do at Florida, and I think he can do a fantastic job. Like Lane's not going to Florida, like he's staying.
So you're hoping Florida does well. That's an odd approach.
I'm sorry.
Kelsey.
I'm sorry. It is what it is. It is me.
Chris, Kelsey's telling us that Florida is going to hire Lane Kiffin, and he's going to take the job. 56.
Who's telling you that?
Kelsey.com. You know this. Is
that the public saying that?
That's the public.
Yeah.
Look, the public's not always wrong. Hey, what I want to tell you guys is that the show is always presented by Pearl River Resort, and Golden Moon Hotel and Casino is an hour and a half from where we're sitting right now in Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. Vegas-style sports book over there in Philadelphia, Mississippi. 20 big screen TVs, all the major sports on, 12 state-of-the-art wager boards listing all the games and scores. You got 3 wager stations to place in-person bets, full bar. We'll be there in a couple weeks. We appreciate them so much, but you don't have to do what I did a couple weeks ago, take all those flights out to Vegas. You get the exact experience and actually better over at Pearl River Resort because you don't have to pay $150 for your table. You know, you can just sit down and sit at the table.
Hot take. I've never been to Vegas. Never been.
Whoa.
I know. It's every time I've always wanted to go. I've had something go down. I've just had something, but I'm a sucker for New Orleans. So
all right. Well, Harris there. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Final segment. We're going to pick the Bama game right after this.
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll.
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire, that rush? Then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now. Let's roll.
Let's roll.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager, a medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer, made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. When Hyundai introduced America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, it was one of a kind. But you know us, how can we improve on that? Tuscaloosa Hyundai was first in the nation with a 1,000,000-mile warranty on every new Hyundai. When we told customers no charge, they smiled, and you will too. At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, home of the 1,000,000-mile smile.
This isn't just a place, it's a pulse and a rhythm, where game day is more than a tradition. Heart-pounding yet? It's where the flavors are bold and the portions are generous. Mouth-watering yet? Art, music, and culture paint the city's soul. Creativity flowing yet? So whether you come for the thrill, the taste, the beauty, or the tradition, you'll stay for the Tusca life. Ready to feel it? This is Tuscaloosa. Live the Tusca life.
Get your life back when the world's gone crazy. Get your life back, and I don't mean maybe when you know you got to have a friend. You call 900-9000, 'cause Liz wins, and get your life back, baby. Get your life back, baby. Call 900-9000. Stephen Mezrano.
When you're ready to double down, dive in, drive for a show, and not look back. Roll into Pearl River Resort. From tee times to table games, water slides by day, slots by night. Savor the flavors, feel the fun, win big. Let's roll into Pearl River Resort. Must be 21 or older to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Here comes Tracy Lawrence, live for one night only. Saturday, November 15th, Pearl River Resort Silver Star Convention Center. All the hits, all night long, with CMA and ACM award winner, Tracy Lawrence.
Just the way I planned.
Tickets on sale now at pearlriverresort.com.
When you head to the Smoky Mountains, it's only natural to visit Sevierville.
Even we had to check it out.
And we've been here our whole lives.
Experience the adventure of a lifetime.
I'm king of the world.
Even you can get a bird's eye view of the Smokies.
You're going down, Billy. Whoa.
Your Smokies start here.
All right, roll tide, everybody. Final segment of the Bama Tailgate Show with Cruz Oxenreider and Jake Coker. Good to see Slade Bolden here. I got to tell you, man, Slade Bolden, one of my favorite receivers at Alabama.
Oh,
look at that. Nice. People giving him a round of applause. What's up,
one
man?
guy. It's Chris.
It's Chris. Very loud, though. You don't. It's just a radio audience.
That's how you know he's your boy.
Yeah. One is better than none. I'll take it.
The good thing is that, on the radio aspect, everybody would just think that you get that kind of applause everywhere you go.
Well, you do a little background effect. Is that how it works?
We can do that.
Okay. Well, I feel like everybody's just enjoying some nice cold Innisfree brews and chicken fingers. So I get it. I'd be locked into it.
Well, we do that. A little Yingling. We got Yingling on tap here. The show's brought to you by Yingling Lager. You know Yingling's America's oldest brewery.
Really? I did not know that.
That's
Well, I guess I need to.
Well,
you might gonna have to get you.
Yeah.
I have a complaint. Do I have to sit? He's too damn good looking to sit next to.
Look at him. Big and sharp. Is that a Rolex?
No. Hey, hand me down, Seiko. We're not going too crazy today. I promise.
Well, let's ask you, Slade. What do you think about this matchup with LSU? It's a place that you've been to before, Louisiana.
Yeah, a few times, and I have a little somewhat personal beef with the LSU Tigers. Growing up in LSU or growing up in Louisiana, you really don't have a choice, right? You're Tigers and Saints. That is who you root for. That's who you want to play for. And I always wanted to be a Tiger growing up. Obviously, once you get older, you start getting recruited. You start, okay, what's best for me? What's best for my family? What's best for my future? And, obviously when Coach Saban calls you, and Jake knows this, it is hard to say no. And they do a really great job of recruiting you when you're here. So obviously, like for me, it was, okay, what's going to make me the better player, the better man, the better student, and overall, what's going to help my future the best? So I wanted to compete with the best, play against the best, and get coached by the best. And this was the best place and still is the best place to get that done. So this is personal with me because I felt like they offered me, but they really didn't want me. So I forever kind of held a little vendetta against them in a way. So this is the only time you'll see me throw the L's down. The only time of the year. But I think for this game, it's weird, right? If we were playing in Baton Rouge, it would definitely be a trap game is what we like to call it. But it's like, okay, this is a good team on paper. It's a very talented team. I'm actually still shocked that the season has gone the way it has for them, just because I thought they had a really great offense and their defense is still good. But now I'm afraid that they're going to come in with a different mindset that's like, hey, we don't need a coach.
Yeah,
we are good without one, and that's a desperate team. And a desperate team is scared, right? When you have nothing to lose.
Right.
Because they're not going to playoffs. They're not going to SEC championship. So because of that, it does almost become, quote unquote, a trap game. So I think we just have to, kind of the cliche stuff that sounds like coach. And, Jake probably going to hear it. Block out the noise, right?
Yeah, right.
Not get caught up in, Coach Kelly getting fired and, them not, having any chance to make the playoffs. You got to play our game, the game that we've been playing after week one. It's been really fun to see, and we've been just playing at a high level, and the defense continues to just get better and better. And we've been in situations too where we've had to come into a tough territory against a good team,
right?
And battle throughout the whole game and in the fourth quarter. So I think we've been in different situations that is going to test us, or has tested us. That if we get tested this weekend, we know what to do, and I think we're going to stay poised, and I don't see us.
What's the score? Give us the score.
Oh Lord, I would say it's going to be closer than I like to be, because it always is playing LSU and Auburn and our rivals, right? I like 28-14.
Slade, I want to hear your thoughts on Ryan Williams. Obviously, we all love Ryan Williams.
Yeah.
Had a big year last year, kind of a slump early on in the year, but he's coming along.
Yeah.
What do you think his thought process? How's he getting back to where he was last year?
Well, I'll kind of go from the beginning, just like if I had to put myself in Ryan Williams' shoes, you are 17 and you're on top of the world, like with NIL, with social media. As much as we try not to let those things get to us, it does.
Right.
Unfortunately, it does. The tweets, the hey, you're the best thing ever.
Right.
It's really hard for a kid of that age, and I think he's handled it very well, but definitely better than some others, of dealing with that pressure, because that's a lot of pressure going into this year.
Yeah.
But if I was, and I've said this before, if I was him, I would just go back to the fundamentals. It's so cliche, but I was always taught, look to tuck. Obviously when you get in the game, you're not looking to tuck, full on, but you work on that in practice, you get extra reps, you get your confidence back. And I think that's something that with getting extra reps on the field or in the games, just feeding him as much like, hey, we trust you. We know you're going to make plays. Let's go back to him, even if he drops it. And I think they're doing that, knowing that he is a super special player. I mean, his visual awareness on the field is something I haven't seen, especially that young. Just being able to see guys come out of different angles and being able to make guys miss. So him with the ball in his hands, one of the most dangerous players in college football. But I think, just coming out there, just trying to have fun, not let the lights be too bright, not let the outside media and all the things that come with being who he is get to him. And I've liked the way he's kind of come back. But look, as a receiver, I think one thing that I would love for him to do is try not to let the ball get into his body as much.
Right.
But then again, one of the greatest receivers, which is kind of ironic that I'm about to say his name considering what just happened, Antonio Brown, caught a lot of balls with his body.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Didn't have a good week, though.
No.
Would you have liked to throw the ball to this guy and we got 2 minutes. Give me the
more the
score.
merrier. The more the merrier.
Yeah.
But I kind
Because he could catch. This guy could catch
I
right
ain't
now.
no doubt about it.
Like that, dude. Like, we needed a first down. We had, one of your guys on here, Richard, like last show.
Hey,
Pippen, baby.
you gotta
You know what I mean?
most important thing, got to be where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Be there and then catch the ball.
Yeah, I did a lot of the cliche things of what I look like if you can see me. I was smart. I ran good routes.
Were you a gym rat first one in, first one out?
I was where I needed to be.
Sneaky athletic.
Yeah, sneaky athletic. Hey,
He was
he's
more
tough.
of a possession guy.
Yeah. He's not really great after the catch, but man, he finds a way to catch the ball.
See, this is why I was a fullback and a long
Give us the
snapper.
Yeah.
Give me the score. I got to close the show.
I'm going to go 24-10.
Okay, what do you got, Cruz?
I got 30-21 Bama.
Oh, well, Slade, thank you for coming on.
Thank
Good
y'all.
to see you, Jake. I'll talk to you guys after the game on the next round platform. Bama and LSU. Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll
We'll talk to you.
Tide.
And by the way, we're back at Innisfree next week
Let's
for the
go.
show. Come on and see us. Roll Tide.
Gotta